Alright there guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. And today we're going to be talking about something that's happening, well, today. And that thing that is happening is the Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3 multiplayer servers today will be officially turned offline permanently. Now, the PS3 version of The Last of Us is also having this happen, but since The Last of Us remastered on PS4 also has the multiplayer modes, it's not really a big deal for that. It's a much bigger deal for Uncharted 2 and 3. So yeah, if you guys didn't know, Naughty Dog tweeted around about May that on September 3rd, 2019, the Uncharted 2 and 3 multiplayer servers were going to be turned offline forever. And I want to talk about it because you may not think this is a big deal since Uncharted 2 turns 10 years old next month, and Uncharted 3 turns 8 years old in November. But in my opinion, Uncharted 2 and 3 multiplayer are two of the most, in my opinion, it's probably just my opinion, but it might be someone else. Some of you guys may think this as well, but in my opinion, Uncharted 2 multiplayer and Uncharted 3 multiplayer are two of the most underrated multiplayers out there for any game. Of course, if multiplayer is your game's main game mode, then of course it's going to be more popular than a game that has single player as its focus, and it has a multiplayer mode as well, but single player is the more focused. Now, Uncharted 2 multiplayer basically introduced multiplayer for Uncharted with game modes such as the usual team deathmatch, elimination, which is just team deathmatch except you don't respawn until the next round. They had King of the Hill, like in other games, and they also have Plunger, which is basically capture the flag, but instead of picking up a flag, you pick up a treasure, a golden idol of treasure, and you have to take it back to your base, which has a treasure chest that you have to put in order to capture. Because I'm pretty sure in pretty much all multiplayer game matches on any game of capture the flag, you walk into the flag and you just have it. But no, in Uncharted 2 and 3, you actually have to pick up the treasure, and then you can only use your pistol. And you can throw you can even throw your treasure to get it closer to your base. And of course, there is only one treasure idol on the map at any given time. Meaning, if you have the treasure, the enemies have to kill you to take the treasure back. And those were really fun on Uncharted. You level up, you unlock new skins, which don't do anything apart from you just playing as a different character. But it was fun leveling up, getting medals, such as in Black Ops 2 for Call of Duty and onwards. You notice how you got medals, like for a double kill you get a medal at the top of your screen. Uncharted actually did that before Call of Duty did. Uncharted did it with Uncharted 2 and 3. You get for double kills, triple kills, you get medals. There was a co-op arena mode where it's basically just massive survival. So it's a massive survival mode where you play through 10 waves and you have different things to do. You have Siege, which is defend. You have to go to a specific area and defend it, meaning you have to get kills in it. If you don't get kills in that area, the game doesn't count them as kills. There was Gold Rush, which is like Plunger. Pick up the treasure and put it in your treasure chest. And there was co-op objective, which is in my opinion the best part of Uncharted 2's multiplayer. Co-op adventure, a co-op objective is basically three mini co-op adventures, such as you play through all of chapter 5 of Uncharted 2 but in co-op, and you have 3 different maps to choose from. Nepal from the beginning of the game, you have the village from halfway through the game, and you have the monastery from closer to the end of the game. These co-op adventures are so cool because they're just mini stories put in to multiplayer, where you and up to 2 more friends can just go through them. It was such an amazing idea, and I am so gutted that when we heard co-op DLC for Uncharted 4 multiplayer, I was massively hoping co-op adventure was what they were going to introduce. Make three or 5 mini stories that take place in locations throughout Uncharted 4 that you can play. It would be so perfect if they actually added that, but unfortunately that's never going to happen. Now we'll get on to Uncharted 3 multiplayer and why I think this is underrated. As I said, Uncharted 3 also has medals, so again, did it before Call of Duty did it. Of course, Uncharted 3 had different weapons to Uncharted 2. Some of the same weapons from Uncharted 2 made it to 3, but of course some weapons were changed. And Uncharted 3 had a brand new feature called kickbacks. And these kickbacks were basically special abilities you could use in multiplayer, such as there was a T-Bolt Sniper, the T-Bolt Sniper is of course a gun that's like the Dragon Sniper, but it's even better. Like, the Dragon Sniper is a 2-shot kill to a body shot. It's a 1-shot headshot, but 2-shot to the body. The T-Bolt Sniper is a 1-shot kill to any part of the body. You have that. You have an ability where you can throw grenades that explode into more grenades. So, a bit like the Matryoshka dolls from Ascension and Call of the Dead in Black Ops 1 Zombies. They explode and then they explode into more and more grenades. There was a big grenade where you throw it and there's a massive explosion. Of course, Uncharted 2 and 3 multiplayer had... Uncharted 2 multiplayer had ledge takedowns as a way of taking your enemies down, like in the campaign of Uncharted 2, but it also had kickoffs where if you're standing above a ledge and an enemy is climbing around it, you can go up to them, and if you press square quick before they do, you'll just stamp on their foot, stamp on their hand, or kick their hand and kick them off the ledge and kill them. Whereas Uncharted 3 did that, it made it even better, because in Uncharted 3, if you were hanging on a ledge, right, and an enemy was also hanging on a ledge next to you, if you press square, you would actually kick them off the ledge while hanging from it yourself, which is probably just me, but I found that, I really, really enjoyed that. And of course, there's special quotes in Uncharted 2 and 3 when you get kills, as is in 4, but we're talking about 2 and 3 specifically. And Uncharted 2 and 3's multiplayer maps did follow the traditional like Call of Duty type of maps from around 2007 to 2011, where the multiplayer maps were just parts of sections of campaign story missions turned into a multiplayer map. Uncharted 2 and 3 did that. Well, even 4. Even Uncharted 4 has done that. Yeah, that seemed to be a big trend back then. Instead of making completely new original multiplayer maps like developers do now, it was just get a section of a campaign mission and just enclose it and turn it into a multiplayer map. Of course, Uncharted 2 did that with the fortress that was in Uncharted 1. They turned that into a multiplayer map and enclosed it, but the part of the multiplayer map you played wasn't actually accessible in Uncharted 1. So you could see parts of the fortress that you did access, but you also played sections that you never could access. And of course, Uncharted 3 brought back co-op missions, brought back the co-op adventure mode, but I'd say Uncharted 2 has better ones, but Uncharted 3's are made better. Basically, Uncharted 3's story co-op missions, mini story co-op missions, are actually have an actual story to them. It's a face statue of Janus, the two-faced god. We have one looks into the future and one looks into the past. Basically, we have Flynn, Lazarevich, and Eddie from Uncharted 1 and 2 all basically find and access the one half of the stone-faced statue. And at the very, very beginning, you go to Borneo from Uncharted 2, where you take on Lieutenant Draza, who was the, I guess, first boss battle of Uncharted 2, despite he was very, very easy to beat. In Uncharted 2, of course, in Uncharted 3, all the boss battles have like mega high health, like 5 shots with a T-bolt sniper to the head might not actually be able to kill them. Yeah, 5 shots to the head with the strongest sniper and they're still alive. That's how much health they have. But you go to Borneo in Chapter 1. In Chapter 2, you go to the London Underground, which is in Uncharted 3. In Chapter 3, you go to the monastery, which was from Uncharted 1. Right? Chapter 4, you go to Syria, which is again from Uncharted 3. And then you go to the airport, which again is from Uncharted 3. But the fact that you go to different locations from from Uncharted 3, 2, and 1, all in this mini story, that it's such an amazingly well-made tiny little mini story about Nate and his friends having to take down enemies that we've taken down in the past. That's why there's no Uncharted 3 villains in this mini story, because you took them down in the story mode, which makes more sense for Flynn, Eddie, and Lazarevich, because you took them down in previous games. They don't have any relevance to the story. But Naughty Dog obviously saw how good the co-op story mode was, and they actually made a DLC map for the co-op story where you play as Flynn, Eddie, and Lazarevich, and you go to the fortress from Uncharted 1, which I told you guys is a multiplayer map in Uncharted 2, but you go through the actual sections from Uncharted 1 in this co-op mode, and you fight against Uncharted 3 enemies, and then the whole goal of that story mode is to get the other half of the statue. that they have at the airport at the end in Chapter 5 of the normal co-op story mode. So they even decide to make another mini story to show how the characters got the statue for when you defeated them. Honestly, if Uncharted 4 had co-op had like true co-op mini story mode in multiplayer, I would love that so much, because that's the only thing that the Uncharted 4's multiplayer is missing. Even without it, Uncharted 4's multiplayer is really, really good. Although I'm probably saying that because out of the 3 games, it's the multiplayer I'm the best at from the 3 games. I'm actually not that bad at Uncharted 4's multiplayer. But unfortunately, today is the day the servers will be permanently shut down. Now, does this mean Naughty Dog are now going to update Uncharted the Nathan Drake collection and add in Uncharted 2 and 3 multiplayer to Uncharted 2 and 3 remastered? Or is that Uncharted 2 and 3's multiplayer done forever and we'll never see them again? Like, whenever you hear people say talk about like what was a really good multiplayer experience in a game you had, literally nobody ever says Uncharted 2 or Uncharted 3 multiplayer. They're so massively underrated and overlooked. And I've just remembered, in Uncharted 3, unfortunately, they ended up getting rid of this feature. Either this, or they just did not, they made it a lot rarer. But there were actually 2 versions of different maps, such as the Airstrip map. There was Airstrip and Airstrip Intro. Because in Airstrip Intro, you start the mode on a runway on these trucks with a plane chasing after the plane that Nate chases after in Chapter 16 of Uncharted 3. And you actually can shoot at your enemies from truck to truck. And the goal is you have a time limit, I think it's a time limit of 1 minute, to try and make it onto the plane. And even if you make it onto the plane, if you get there quick enough, you can use the plane as cover. Like, the luggage on the plane you can use as cover and shoot at your enemies who are still jumping from truck to truck. And on the London Underground, you all start on tube trains, jumping across these 2 trains before you actually make it to the full map. Like, what games have multiplayer maps where they don't start off in the actual map? They have a full introduction that's completely different to the map for about 60 to 90 seconds before they actually get thrown into the map. I think that is really, really cool. Unfortunately, Uncharted 4 doesn't have any of these intros for multiplayer maps, but 2 and 3 did. I mean, I would very, very like to see Uncharted 2 and 3 remastered be updated and have their multiplayers put into their games. Because as you guys know, Uncharted 2 and 3 remastered in the Nathan Drake collection do not come with their multiplayer components. They are strictly story mode only, which is still completely fine. I mean, the story mode is why Uncharted is so popular in the first place. But I would be very happy to see Uncharted 2 and 3's multiplayer in the Nathan Drake collection, because I want to get the Nathan Drake collection again anyway. I really should not have sold it, but this was like early 2016 when I sold it, and it's now, we've entered the last 4 months of 2019, so over 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago even. But yeah, I want to get the Nathan Drake collection anyway to do LPs of all the the first 3 Uncharted games for you guys, which, of course, I've played Uncharted 4 and The Lost Legacy, and I'm currently replaying Uncharted 4 on the channel for you guys, so I'd love to get Uncharted 1, 2 and 3 on the channel as well, because you guys know Uncharted 2 is my favourite game of all time. To me, it is pretty much flawless. But yeah, that is going to be the end of this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Tell me in the comments if you guys are going to miss Uncharted 2 and 3 multiplayer, because I am really going to miss them. I may not have played Uncharted 2's multiplayer since September of 2017. As the only reason I played Uncharted 1 and I played Uncharted 2 for the last 2 years has been to play through the story mode all over again. And I also do that with Uncharted 1. I play through 2 to 3 times a year. I play through the entire story mode of both games. I would do the same for Uncharted 3, but my Uncharted 3 disc doesn't work, so even if I wanted to, I can't. But yeah, do you guys have any fond memories of Uncharted 2 and 3 multiplayer? Whether it was you went on a massive streak, or in competitive multiplayer in PvP, or you and your friends had a flawless session on co-op, on PvE's co-op, whether it was on Uncharted 2 or 3 multiplayer. And also, of course, The Last of Us on PS3 is going to lose its multiplayer servers, but the PS4 version is going to still have it, so it doesn't actually make any difference. Even though, in my opinion, The Last of Us multiplayer is awful. Like, the game, The Last of Us is a phenomenal game. It's my 4th favourite game of all time, but its multiplayer is god awful. I hate it so much. It's so bad. Literally, it has 2 game modes. That is it. 2 game modes, which is both teams have 20 lives. Whichever team runs out of lives first loses, and you have the same exact thing, but when you die, you don't respawn, which is basically elimination from Uncharted 2 and 3. But yeah, if The Last of Us had a mini co-op story mode as well, that would have been amazing in multiplayer. I really, really hope The Last of Us Part 2 has a mini co-op story mode in multiplayer. Even if we're using characters that have died in the first game, I don't care, like a mission where it's Joel, Ellie and Tess, or Joel, Ellie and Bill, or Ellie, Bill and somebody from Part 2 that we're going to meet that we haven't seen yet due to the game still not being released yet. It is my most anticipated game at the moment. It's going to be my most anticipated Let's Play, and you can bet that as soon as that game comes out, I'll be getting it as soon as I possibly can, and doing a blind LP of it for you guys. If you don't know what a blind LP is, it's basically you're playing through the game without knowing anything. That you don't know what is coming next ever. You never know what comes next. Of course, I have seen some gameplay of The Last of Us Part 2, so I will probably recognise certain parts that I have already seen before, but the majority of the game I will never have played before. Okay, enough about The Last of Us. This is about Uncharted. So that is going to be the end of the video. If you guys have enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, follow me on all my social medias. RIP to Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3 multiplayer. You were an amazing experience, massively underrated and overlooked. It would be amazing to see you in the Nathan Drake collection for Uncharted 2 and 3 remastered, but I doubt Naughty Dog can be bothered to put them in. If they don't, that's fine. The story mode is still the best part of Uncharted. And until next time, guys, catch you later.